Good morning, everybody. We're back as usual. We are back with the show called a TBR Solution Sports Forum. You know that we do two shows, one at 10 o'clock. The other one, it was lunch hour, 1 o'clock. But one has noticed that the editing sometimes becomes a huge problem. So I suspect that instead of 1, maybe we'll target something like 1:30 to post that one, or latest 2 o'clock. Then on Tuesday, we'll try to post at 5, all right, the second show. But the first one, we'll try by all means to stick at 10 o'clock, although sometimes it's a little bit difficult to attain it. Now, let me just remind you, TBR Solution Sports Forum. TBR stands for the Big R Solutions. That's what it stands for. And then again, the big R is all those English words, the positive ones that starts with the word R. A key to those words is reading. We are saying if you want to resolve anything, it's important to do some reading, do some research, present things out, and then very important to consider the relationship, because you are not an island. Resilience, take responsibility, reflect and review, records, all those positive ROs. We said they are very important in solving the issues of finance. Now, remember, this company largely deals with financial matters. That's what we do. And sometimes you'll be worried, why are we doing sports, this and that? It's because money is everywhere. And as we do sports and look at what is happening in football, which we currently do, we try to learn what's happening there and see how can we learn as individuals, as communities, as society. I'm sure you know as much as I know that things are tough. The pandemic has thrown the world into wildness, all right, in terms of financial survival. You know it as much as I know. The inflation is going up and up. We don't see the chance of the inflation going down. On top of that, there wars. We know that it's happening in Ukraine, the war between Ukraine and Russia. All those things have resources, and things have shifted. We know that Russia now has come to a point of saying, whoever wants to buy oil or coal from Russia has now to use the Russian currency, no more dollar. Remember, dollar has been the dominating factor. Now, whether you are a German or any other country, if you want to buy anything from Russia, be energy or anything, you'll then have to be forced to use their currency, all right? Not only that, lot is happening in the world. We know that the big chain store, McDonald's, has moved out of Russia. And what did the Russians do? They decided to, convert those stores into their own brand of McDonald's. So I don't know whether it's a world setup that is taking place today. And as I say, you in yourself, I've seen people are losing jobs. I've seen people who are running companies. Things are a little bit tough. People are being squeezed. People are laying off their employees. People are not making money as they used to. Now, you may wonder why all this? The world, as we see today, is still pertaining to money. But in the meantime, let me welcome Tshepang Lasbon. Lasbon, welcome to the show. I've already opened up the show.
Yes, good morning to you, Mr. Shabalal, and to the viewers out there.
Yeah, Tshepang, what I was saying as we start the show, I explain what the big R stands for. All the positive R words that starts with English. Why are they important in financial matters? All right. And also, I was just outlining that we are a financial company. So people might ask, why are you doing sports? Said money is everywhere. All right. As much as we do sports, but at the same time, we want to see what can we learn. So I'm saying the world is in recession. That's what I'm saying. The pandemic has caused a whole lot of havoc. And not only that, we see this war in Ukraine. Russia has come up with new ways of doing things. If you want to buy things, you need to use the Russian currency. In the past, the dollar was a dominating factor. I've just learned, we know that our country here, they've signed not to use coal and then go for renewable energy. But we have just learned that in the past 2 weeks, the Americans have bought millions and millions of coal from us because the Russians have closed the door. So those are some of the things. Now, how is this linked to football? We see every day we talk, Chiefs is not buying players. If you look, not many teams are buying. Chiefs have bought, I think, about 3 players. We don't know whether they are going to add. Pirates appeared 1 or 2. Instead, we see teams even in Europe releasing the players. You go to Liverpool, they have signed Nunes from Porto. I think they signed about 1 or 2 or 3 players, and then they released close to 10 or so. Sadio Mane is one of them, apparently is going to leave, which is something that I want us to talk about, probably talk about it in the next show. He may join Bayern Munich, and they are almost close to reaching an agreement. And then, Man United, they haven't added so much, but they've released your Pogba and all that. And then, so teams are losing a number of players, all right? We heard Hugo Boss coming up and arguing that our football has reached stagnation. All right. Now, what is a recession? Recession is when the economy has stagnated, when there is no movement in the economy. Because when we talk finance, there must be what you call movement. There must be circulation of the currency and resources and services. All right. Now, as I was saying, teams are not buying. Now, that means we are in recession. All right. Well, what we are worried about, is it going to last for how long? All right. Remember, we said it's 2019, COVID-19, and then up to this point in time, things are really, really tough. We saw Barcelona releasing their price, which is Lionel Messi. All right. Because things are tough. You ask anyone, let me ask you, Tshepang, do you know people that you know who have just lost their job, it's really difficult to make ends meet?
Yeah, there's quite a number of people that I know, and a lot of them actually, they are going through a difficult time, especially in their workplace as well.
mm,
Some are even considering other options as well,
mm,
due to the current situation that we're facing at the moment. So it's a tough time for a lot of people, actually for everyone, you
mm,
know.
mm,
Yeah. I
mm,
think it's just a it's about that time where we are all just going through something, you
mm,
know.
mm,
It's just a crisis, and everyone is feeling it at the moment.
mm. And then you are running a business, I know. How's business doing? I see new subscribers, or I see the decline. I seem reluctant coming over. What's happening? But I want us to understand because it's easy to blame Kaiser Ivan Koza. You guys don't want to sign. Hugo Bros was wrong. What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like things are still stagnant for now. It's just a matter of keeping things afloat and finding solutions. That's the only way.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
it's not easy, but you try and find solutions, in
mm,
order just to keep the business afloat.
mm,
Um, as well as when it comes to Kaiser Taung as well, we cannot blame him for what's happening, but we can only just um, I could say congratulate him in just keeping the team afloat as well, and keeping the team stable for now and the club running. Unlike just keeping or offloading players and maybe offloading the staff again due to financial reasons. I mean, we saw what happened to Amazulu as well. The chairman did say that the reason why they are floating a lot of players is due to financial reasons and they just want to balance their finances. So clearly, a lot of these teams are just going uh,
mm,
and through this whole crisis. But for other teams, for big teams to still stay afloat and manage things, it's a good thing. But it doesn't mean that they don't feel it as well. But they are
mm,
feeling everything that's happening. But
mm,
it's just
mm.
managing the situation, which is a good. Well,
Yeah, we saw that Swallows, we heard that they were also undergoing issues of finance. So that is why they had problems, and we are told that the government is going to borrow money for the vaccine and all. It's real tough. Now, the next question is, what is the way forward? The way forward is, what I like about business? Business gives you the opportunity to always try to solve problems, all right? And that is why it's a very difficult asset class. Not everybody survive, okay? It gives you the opportunity because this is what big business do. When things are tough like this, the more they market, the more they go on the ground, not asking question who's got money, who does not have money, but they go and market and make. Now they spend money to ensure that they resolve their problem. So, as much as I say it's tough, but it's time now even for the teams to ensure that they beef up. All right. But at the same time, you need to balance the books. Okay. Because if you balances the books, that helps you not to be bankrupt. We know that Barcelona, not long, they were threatened to be bankrupt. And then that is why I said they had to lose their really prized person, which is Lionel Messi. But look what's happening. I don't know whether it's all about leadership or what. Um, Barcelona have gone to an extent of, selling some of their assets because we are told that Barcelona have what you call 1.7 billion. I think is it US or pounds, which they owe, and now they need to offset that. Remember, they refused to take that deal of CVC, all right? Because what Laporta's argument was, if they take that, they are going to be, to be forced to forsake their rights for 50 years. So he was saying it doesn't make sense, for him to go that route. But we are told that they've already voted as the fans of the team, that some of their assets should be sold, like their rights, television rights, for 25 years instead of 50. They've sold a number of things, which is part of their assets. Apparently, it is said they will be able to get close to about 600 million. Remember, when you go to the bank or any funder, you want funding, they want to look at the books, all right? They don't want to see your expenses exceeding your assets. So they're trying to do that. And they're also thinking of buying new player, to renovate the stadium as Barcelona. And then we also know that Real Madrid, they've said they're not going to add any other personnel now in the near future. And remember, Laporte, not Laporte, Pires has done well in terms of building the stadium, all right? And now over and above, he has just won the Champions League, all right? And no wonder one understands why Laporta says they may not sign Dembele with the current demands on the table. So while Dembele, it looks like he's not willing to budge. And at the same time, Barcelona are somehow forced to consider selling De Jong. Man United is offering them 50 million US dollars, but they want 73 million US dollars to balance the books. And on the other hand, you have the young man De Jong saying, I don't want to leave. I wanted to play this team. This has been my favorite team since I was young. All right. It's very tough out there. So I'm giving you that picture so that you understand it's not only our local teams that are experiencing problems. Everybody's experiencing problems. But I hear Florentina said the Super League, the plan is still alive. And then I said, if our UEFA leadership, I would definitely get worried. If a person of Florentina continues to say what he says, so that tells me that you still have a problem, all right? So he says that option is still on the table. So I don't know whether you want to add something.
Yeah, I saw a statement by Florentino Perez. Yeah, he's so adamant about the Super League, and he thinks that it's going to happen, but I guess it will happen because of the pressure that he's putting, even for the board and the teams as well. He's trying to make a statement that this thing is going to happen. So I don't know what his plan or what is it that he has put forward, but the way he talks about it, it seems like the plan is even done already. He's done planning. Thing is just done and dusted. They're probably finalizing the final stages. Maybe a different approach on how to do it, but it seems like it, 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 it it's going to happen sooner or later.
Mm.
So yeah, we'll just see how that unfolds. But in regards to other clubs as well, with what's happening with the signings, I mean, yeah, Barcelona has been going through it for the past 3 years. Offloading players as well. He doesn't want to go, but he says that if he doesn't have a choice or an option to stay within the club, then he has to actually step aside and view his options else somewhere else. So this is where Man United put in their first bid for 60 million, but it was declined. Barca only wants 80 million for him. So, but I think they'll make a second offer. They so adamant in getting him. So I think he will actually go. Dembele as well, his contract as well. They cannot find a mutual agreement. So I guess also with him, it's only a matter of time. He gets announced that he'll be leaving the club. PSG might be there for him to actually sign him, since we saw that PSG are the favorites. Man United as well, looking closely to sign Dembele as well. So contract issues are a problem at the new camp. I mean, Gavi's contract as well. They've been saying that they'll announce it, they'll finalize it, but nothing yet. I wonder what's holding um what's keeping Gavi I could say what's taking them so long? You know, why are they holding on so much into Gavi's contract? I wonder what is it that they are trying to finalize. I guess the boys' contract is 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 is, is so strong because I saw that his release clause will be 1 billion. It's close to 1 billion. So yeah, they're just trying to find solutions, I guess. And yeah, we'll just see since the window is open for the next 2 months. So we'll just see what happens in the next couple of weeks or before preseason starts next month.
Mm. Don't you think this boils down to leadership? Well, in terms of Gavi has already ruled out that he's not going to leave Barcelona. He wants to stay there. In fact, Barcelona, they value him so much, and then they're even prepared to up the offer in terms of the salary. It's not a, it's imminent. The one of Gavi, it's imminent. It's a matter of tightening up few little things, of which if they do it, I would agree with them. You can't lose such a talent. And then, but what was disappointing for me is to see Alcantara, Rafina being touted to be brought back as a Jewess. That guy is finished. Why do you bring that player? As I say, it's about leadership, all right? And remember, I was talking about Florentino Perez and said, this guy, as much as we may have doubted him, but he has shown to be a good leader. Look what he's doing now with Real Madrid. And he says, you know what? The most important thing, he has added an asset, which is the stadium. Right? He has added an asset, which is the stadium, and then it's a new stadium, new art, and at the same time the team is winning. For them to win the Champions League has put them to another level. All right. Now, before we go, Hugo Bros, was he wrong with his statement? We saw that people were coming out lambasting him. Your Dr. Kumalo, your Steve Compella, you name them. And then West, we saw a current player, Kerry Rasmus, also commenting. I don't know whether it was that strategic or brave. I don't know what to call it. And then when I say leadership, the point that is pointing out about our football, in essence, is true. When did we last compete? If you watch our football, honestly, our football leaves much to be desired. I don't know whether the impact has to do with the attendance at the stadium or so on, but I don't think so. Now, not long ago, Cardoso has come out, I say heads up to Cardoso that, you know what, we're not fair to Kaiser Chiefs. Some of the players would come to the training drunk. What is that? Do people take their their work seriously. That is why I'm asking hard questions. Whether is it about leadership, and then what Kaiser Chiefs did by making sure that Zuma is being offloaded. Well, I don't know. Amazulu, whether it's a question of being desperate or they have a hope that they can repent the boy. So it's not only about the leaders, the owners of the team. It's also about people leading their own life. As a player, you come to the stadium or to the training ground, you are drunk. Huh? Huh? So for me, that's not on. That's not on. So yes, we need to start reflecting. When things are like this are tough, then that's when we need to dig deeper and do what we can do. Last one, I don't know. What's your say about this story of Hugo Bros? Was he right or was he wrong, or are we just shooting the messenger?
No, two sides to this story. Things first, I believe that, as I did say, when we were talking with our other colleagues as well, he was right. Those were valid points that he has raised. I think it was high time our country needed to hear that, to be honest. The truthful matter is, and um, the points that he had raised within that interview were valid. When last did our under 21 or under 23 boys compete on a national level? I believe the last time they did that was during um, the Olympics. The Olympics that played 2 years ago. Was it last year or 2 years ago? If I'm not mistaken. I've never heard that the boys are on a national a break. They are going to play in a certain competition or going to compete for something. It's been a while. I haven't had that in a long time. And number two, it's as I said the last time, I blame our leadership, and as a country we've failed. Um, we haven't, let me say, we don't take our football very serious. It's been close to 10 years whereby we're still stagnant. There's no direction ever since the World Cup, I could say. After the World Cup, things have fallen apart. We haven't took our football serious, and we it's like we lack sense of urgency. Let me put it that way. Our development structures are bad. We can't say the coaches, we can't blame the coaches or the players, but we need to blame the leadership, the people that are behind that development phase, that foundation. So the foundation is already broken as a whole. So leading up to the first team as well, there's no use because of, you cannot just keep the first team afloat, but the foundation from the development structures is broken. Nothing will work because there's no balance in terms of that. Um, yes, the approach that the coach might have took in saying all of those things um, was a bit hurtful. Yes, hence why the players came out as well. They made their comments. Your Kemet Erasmus, even the coaches as well. Your Steve Compellers understand that frustration. Yes, maybe in a public space saying all of those things, the way he approached that matter was a bit, I could say, bad. I fully agree with that, with all those comments. But the truth remains, what he said, all of those points were valid. Everyone actually agrees with that, with all of the things that he was saying. But we cannot say that our country doesn't have players, our country doesn't have, I would say, quality players, and our standard of football. We might say it's a bit bad because that's what I'm saying. Our development structures and our foundation is not solid, has been broken down. It's a mess. It's a mess down there, and it actually affects the senior phase as well. So this is my
But Seba, yeah, I hear what you're saying. If the fundamentals are not correct, the leader must follow his sort. The leader is the one who sought out those things. Now, recently, 2 days ago, all right, or Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, 2 days ago, Maruma Gallants fired Dan Marcella. We don't know what happened, what transpired, all right? And I was saying, Safa fired Peter Msimane for losing friendlies, all right? Now, Nteki was brought. The question was raised, who's this Nteki? All right, answers were given. I think Nteki was coming up all right with the squad. So the loss that he suffered, he had already gained some experience. Then he was shown the door. Then Hugo Bros came in. Now, are we going to say Hugo Bros should go? All right? And are we not raising these issues because our favorite players or players that play for our favorite teams are not there? Is this why people, and I'm saying leadership. Leadership, let me tell you something that people are not aware of. Great leaders, they die poor. Great leaders, they don't die rich. Your Malcolm X died poor. Martin Luther King died poor. Steve Biko died poor. Thomas Sankara died. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because when you are a leader, you are there to give the people the opportunity. I'm saying, where is our leaders in trying to sort out what we are facing? Not only in football, in all spheres of life. You are Tshepang, where is your leadership at your home? All right? When you guys are facing these kind of challenges, all of us, when we are facing this kind of challenge, what are we doing as leaders in our own right? Because leaders are everywhere. Tshepang, it was taking too long, and then it was another topic from another angle, and then to say what is happening, and now observing what is going through, and say we have reached a recession. That's why football is struggling today as we speak. I don't. Maybe in your parting ways.
Yeah. I fully agree with your statement.
Yeah.
With what you said right now. Yes. That's true. That's true. We cannot. It shouldn't be a blaming game as well, and who to blame, and as well as the coach as well. How long do we have to keep on changing coaches in order for things to get better? You know, but rather by stick with one whom you can see that is trying to fix things, and maybe things are getting a bit better. You know, maybe that's a question we should also ask ourselves. If are we patient enough to actually get it right? But we'll just see how everything unfolds. But yeah, I guess it's a topic which needs us to actually tackle and dwell on it more as time goes.
You know, Brakit once said, he did a show to say, analyzing why Senegal won. They kept their coach for 10 years and one of their own. And that is why they finally won the AFCON. And I'm still go back and say Peter was fired for losing friendlies. Today, Peter is one of the best coaches in Africa. All right? So take note. My name is the Saubrey Boyz, Walefatshe from TPR Solution Sports Forum. Thank you for listening and much appreciated. Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is the Saubrey Boyz, Walefatshe from the Big R or TBR Solution. One of the companies owned by TBR Solution is the Big R Financial Services, an authorized financial service provider. I'm sure you have noticed that the past few months or so, we've seen a lot of deaths, and those deaths are attributed to mental illness. Mental illness can be caused by anything, can be caused by stress, depression, And stress and depression can be caused by a number of things: lack of finances, or financial problem, or social problem, or marital problem. So they cause all those problems. We in the financial sector, we see it almost now and again, because we work with various organizations like GPF, Independent Fund Organization. But while I'm still there, let me stress, we don't have a formal relationship with GPF, but we work with them because most of our people are from there. Now, working with those people, you know very well that people who are working for the government, they're expected to retire at the age of 60 and above, right? If you retire earlier than that, then you are being penalized by GPF. And sometimes people say, no, I need money. So what do? They resign. They say, no, let the money go to my bank account. Once you do that, you are tax heavy. So you need to bear that in mind, okay? But now, let's say for argument's sake, you are 55 as we speak and above, and you are contemplating of either resigning or going on pension in the next 3 months or so. Just drop us a WhatsApp so that we help you to expedite for your payment. Because according to the GPF rules and pension fund law, once a client or a member receive an SMS that they've received your forms, that means they have 60 days to complete the process. And mind you, the 60 days is a maximum. It doesn't mean it has to take 60 days. It's a maximum. Now, sometimes we see people, they don't get their money for 2 to 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, even more, or a year or so. And then there, the problem could emanate either from the GPF side, employer side, a member himself. So what do? We try to expedite that process by making sure that we understand the workings of GPF. If it's a member, we help him to do the right thing. The same with GPF, the same with employer organization. Now, remember, as I have already said, that with GPF, it's 60 and above. Now, and then we say if you're 55 or more, you can contact us. And another good element is this: with the fund that we are working with, there is a whole lot of flexibility. You can decide how much you earn. That's how flexible it is. And if, let's say, you pass on, you and your spouse, you can nominate anyone. You are not limited to your immediate family, like your biological children or an officially adopted children. Remember, even your children, they can benefit as long as they're 22 and below. But with us, it doesn't matter. They can be above 22, they can be your elders, or they will still benefit because you nominated them. And then we try by all means that when we take the money from GPF and invest with credible fund organization, we try by all means that you are least taxed, all right? And then, and even you are not punished because you are not taking the money, because you are taking to another fund. So which means an independent and credible fund. So it means that there's no need to tax you more. So those are some of the advantages that are there. So you need to bear that in mind. And then if you want to know more, just drop us a WhatsApp on our WhatsApp number. Then we'll call you back. You don't have to call us. We'll call you back and see how can we expedite it. I thank you.